Okay, so in this video, we've already got a list of albums here. We want to add another column here that will put a little button in that will delete an album if we want to. So to do that, let's go into our albums.php file here, and here we have all of our items. Sorry, all of our headers. So we have title, year. Actually, let me just break this over another line so it's just a little easier to read. Okay, so we've got title, year, artist, genre. So if I want to add in another column header, I'm just going to say table header, and in here I'm going to say delete. Hit save. And then down here we're going to do something similar. Okay, so this is the table header, and then for each album we're going to display the title, year, artist, genre. And then where it's a little different here is I'm going to actually put in an href. So I'm going to say a href, and I'll redirect that to the delete album page, delete album.php, and I need to pass in the album ID. So if we look at if we were to use, see if there's a good example available to us. If we were to look here, you see how they have this question mark, and then we say method equals, and we have all the parameters that follow. Well, this is the same. We can actually create delete album.php, and in here I'm going to say album ID equals, and then I'm going to append on from our album the album ID. Okay. So that's our href, and then we'll put in the word delete. Hit save. And if we hit refresh, oh, didn't like something here. Let's see, t-string expected, line 60. We have something that's not closed. Okay, so now we have these delete tags, and if I were to click on it, you can see that first one there, it says album ID equals 1. And if I were to click on this one down here, album ID equals 103. So now we have, although we don't have a delete album.php page yet, we can pass in the album ID we want to delete. Now the other thing is we can actually make this look like a button, because we have our Bootstrap already built in. So let's add that capability as well. So in here, let's say class equals oops. So if I say class equals button, and I refresh this, that should, why is it not? There we go. Okay, maybe we're just looking for this secondary styling. So anyway, so now it looks more like a button. And if I click on it, I get the same behavior, just styled a little different. So let's create our delete album.php page. So do a new PHP file, delete album. And in here, we don't actually need to do any display to the user. The behavior we want is for the user to basically hit delete and come back to this screen with so we'll come back to this screen with the with just that row missing. So in order to do that, let's go into our PHP here. So I'm on the delete album.php file. So it's going to be our usual list of things to do here. So step 1, connect to the database. Step 2, create the SQL statement. Step 3, prepare and execute SQL statement. And then step 4, disconnect from the database. Step 5, redirect back to the albums.php page. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to basically connect to the database, create the SQL statement, run it, disconnect from the database, and then go back to that albums page. So to connect to the database, we're going to do connection equals new PDO. Then the username and password. And then our SQL statement, what we want to do is we want to delete an album given a particular album ID. So to do that, you would say delete from albums where album ID equals, and then you'd pass a number. So if I want to get rid of 105, for example, I say album ID equals 105. And if I execute that command, it's now gone, right? We can see 104, 106, and 107. Okay, so let's take that SQL command, come back into here. Now here, what we won't know is the album ID up front. So I'm going to say album ID. So let's actually create that. So we're going to say if, and I'm going to use the get array. So that's where it'll get it from the header information, right? So right now, when we click on this, we have album ID equals 2, right? So I'm going to use the get array. Remember, get puts it up here. Post does not, right? That's the difference between get and post. So I'm going to say if this is not empty, okay, meaning if there's a value there, because otherwise, you know, what happens, whoops, we wouldn't want someone to be able to, I don't know, just call the delete album page and it deletes all of our albums, right? We want to give it something very specific. I think there is one is numeric. Yes, is numeric. So you can say if it's not empty, and if it's a number, then do all of this. And if not, we just redirect back to the other page. Okay, prepare and execute the SQL statement. So to do that, I'm going to say command equals connection, prepare, is equal. And we have to bind our parameters. So okay. You don't have to store this as a local variable. It's already accessible that way, so we'll treat it as such. And then step 4, oops, gotta do one more thing, which is execute the command. And then we break our connection. And then step 5, we're gonna say header location albums.php. And again, just in case you're working on a system that you can do the ob start. Just in case your web server won't allow you to redirect, you can do ob start at the very beginning. And ob flush right at the very end. Save. Okay, so let's go back. So now if I hit, see here, test from 2091, if I hit delete, okay, it says you was not found server. All right, so looks like my redirect failed. Albums.php. That looks correct. Okay, let's see here. What could be wrong? Yeah, I'm not familiar with this particular all right, let's remove some variables here. There's not a lot to this page. I'm really surprised it's not redirecting as expected. Okay, well, let's I can't see this having any impact, but let's just check just in case. I think something on here is outdated, which I just don't get. Album ID. Object not found. Okay, so I think I found the issue here. It's an odd one. It looks like I created my delete album page in the wrong directory. So I'm going to try just I'm going to cut that out of there and paste it here in the same directory as everything else, and try to reload my page. Okay, so this is a more reasonable error. Okay, so no database selected. On line 25. So let's go in here. Oops, I have to open that file. Line 25. Okay, it says no database was selected. Database was selected here. Invalid cataloging, no database is selected. That is interesting. That's what this line here is doing. We've got the local host and DB name. That's the database right there. Okay. Well, the reason it's saying line 25 is this is where we actually execute the command. So up to, it's really the problem somewhere between here. But what's curious is why it's not liking my, you know why? I'm missing the word host equals here. Save. Let's run that again. There we go. Okay, so now if all goes well, I can delete this, and you see how to the user it doesn't look like the other screen even exists, right? I can just click on delete, and my file, the page just reloads and it's smaller. It's so instantaneous to the user, it's fine. All right, so a little bit of troubleshooting in there, but we got through it. So there you have it. We can now delete from our albums. In the next video, what we'll do is we'll add in edit capability in.